Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group, coming to you guys today with a Q&A session. I love it when we have questions inside of the Marketing Savage Facebook group, so I am going to highlight one of them questions today. I think it's super important, and it's a very good question, but I think it's super important that we understand a process, especially when it comes to automating our marketing. I want you guys to understand in detail how I do that. And so today we're going to take a question from Andrew Harrison. And for any of you guys who might be watching this in the group, I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. The question from Andrew is, he needs some help. And he writes a blog post about once a week, which is very good. Definitely recommend that. And he started out weekly and then he backed off. But he has a solid 12 months of copywriting on his website. His current process is to write it all in notes and then copy it to Instagram, adding his hashtags to the first comment. That's good. And then it automatically transfers to his Facebook page. He says that a secret that he's learned is if you don't put any spaces at the end of your sentences, Instagram will maintain your formatting. And what he means by that, guys, is whenever you write copy in Instagram, you tend to try to do it like Facebook, where you'll put spaces in between the paragraphs, and Instagram will automatically collapse your formatting, and they'll just run the entire copywriting that you did all together into one giant glob, one scary fucking glob paragraph that nobody will ever want to read. So a lot of you guys see the way that I write my copy whenever I'm writing a post or whenever I'm writing something inside of the Marketing Savage group. There's always spaces, not only between paragraphs, but sometimes between sentences. We found that that's eye candy to the general public, and people will read it. They're much more likely to read it. If you write a post that has a bunch of like a big old glob of, we're talking like 400 words that are just in one big glob of a post, nobody wants to read that. It looks intimidating. It doesn't look appealing. Now, if you actually go to Google and you Google Instagram spacing, there will be several different websites that come up that you can copy and paste whatever format that you've written your post, meaning that if you've put in spaces in between your paragraphs or in between your sentences, you can copy and paste it, and they will convert that into an Instagram format. I want to say that one of them actually has let me look it up here for you, actually has an app that you can use as well. SPACE. Yes, I'm looking it up on Google right now. And let me see. I want to say the one that I've used is Instaspace. Yeah. So you can actually use Instaspace and you can convert any formatting that you want, so that way you can copy and paste it onto Instagram. So let me go ahead and go back to Andrew's question here. Okay. So that's the first part. That's a secret that he had given to you. I have noticed that you have to run it through something like Instaspace. Again, you can Google it and find one that works for you, but that's worked well for me in the past. So that being said, he usually takes about an hour to repeat this process. So not only is he blogging and adding it to his blog, but he's also adding it to Instagram. Instagram adds it to Facebook. And he's been doing this for a good 9 months solid, and he's starting to get business from this. So he's actually starting to get organic business from his Facebook and from his website, actually on Google. and he's had several clients come through Google Maps. That's great. That means that it's working, and that if you continue to do it, it will continue to grow. Now, his question is, how can he actually streamline this process? So he's having a hard time streamlining the actual process of all of this work. It's an hour long. It takes him an hour to sit down and do this. One of the things that I recommend here is that, number one, you've got to process this, meaning you've got to break it down into a repeatable process. Step by step, you've got to actually take the time to write out exactly what you need to do. Meaning that if the very first thing is that you write the copywriting, and then you take that copywriting and you put it on your blog, and then you copy and paste it from your blog and you put it on the Line Break website that we looked at earlier, and then you put it on Instagram, and then once you put it on Instagram, it automatically deploys to your Facebook. Okay. So the very first thing that I would look at in every piece of that process, I would, put number one, you've got to write the blog out, right? So that's the very first aspect of it. Number two, you're going to go ahead and put the blog on your website. And then I would actually detail exactly what that is. I mean, because if you put a blog on your website, a lot of us know that you got to do the keywords. You might have to put a category tag on there. Something to that nature might have to happen as well, above and beyond just copy and pasting it. I would write that entire process down as step one, step two, step three. You got to put it on Instagram. Or you got to put it through the spacer. Step 4, you put it on Instagram. Step 5, it deploys to your Facebook, and then boom, you are done. So you got several different elements to that. And I look at it as element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4. Okay. Meaning that them are 4 parts of that process. I look at every single part of that process. And the very first thing that I look at, or the very first questions that I ask myself is, what can I automate? Or what can I eliminate? Is there a part of this process that can be eliminated? Is there some way that I can eliminate something? Is there some way that can I make it change? Is there a way that when I put my blog on my website, I can somehow magically make it connect to Instagram? Is there a way that I can actually is there part of this process that I can eliminate? Is there part of this process that I can automate? Can I use technology? Is there something out there that's going to be able to connect me? Is there one place that I can actually put this that it would deploy to all of the different places? Could I create a Zapier sequence that would allow me to streamline this? Is there a blogging format that I could use that would make it much easier for me to do these blogs? Okay. The third thing I look at is, what could I delegate? What part of this process could I delegate? Do I really need to be writing these blogs? Are these blogs just filled with keywords designed to bring traffic? Would I want to go over to Freelancer and hire several different blog writers and test their styles? Are they writing these blogs better than me? Is it cheaper than actually, spending the time? Could this freelancer log into the back end of my website and actually publish the blog? Could they write it on my website? Could I come up with an agreement where they do it each and every week? And from that point, what do we do next? Okay, so we figure out what part of the process can I delegate. Okay. And a lot of the stuff is cheaper than what you might think. I actually had one of my assistants comment on the actual post, and she basically said that you need to hire a VA. I have several different VAs. I have VAs that work for me doing all kinds of copy and paste style work. What it really boils down to is your time more valuable? Would your time be much more valuable doing something at a higher level? Okay. Doing something that's more higher level, maybe tackling one of your bigger KPIs, your key productivity indicators, maybe working towards that, doing higher level stuff, moving the dial. Is your time going to be much more valuable doing something much higher level? That's what you got to ask yourself. And if it's not, then stay on the grind. Stay down there, stay on the grind. But here's the key. You always need to build your systems for growth, okay? You got to build your systems for growth. So even if I was intending on doing this myself, I would always be projecting that in the future that I'm going to grow out of this position and that I'm going to be tackling higher level things. And at some point, I'm going to be able to pass this process off to somebody else that can do it repeatably. They're going to be able to repeat it day in and day out. And if it becomes an important part of my marketing, then instead of doing it once a week, I might want to do it every freaking day. Every day. It just depends what type of return I'm going to be getting on that investment. So I want to take a step back real quick, because the 4 things I want you to ask yourself is number 1, okay? Number 1, can I eliminate it? Does it really have to be there? Is there some part of the process that I'm doing that doesn't even need to be done? Okay. Number 2, can I automate it? Can I use technology to step in and do something for me inside of this process? Number 3, can I delegate it? Can I have somebody else do this for me? And number 4, do I enjoy it? Do I want to do it myself? That's the 4 things I ask in every single aspect of any service, anything that we're doing, and any of our marketing systems, any of our SOPs, our standard operating procedures, any of that. I ask these 4 questions when we're building out our processes. In fact, we build out processes every single day. We're building a whole new, website building service onto our systems right now, and we're in the middle of processing it, and it's fucking amazing what you can do with technology. We literally got it down to the point where our onboarding is completely automated and tailored to the individual. It's just incredible what you can do nowadays if you have the right technology and you've got the right people in your staff. Like, I'll give you another example. Like, I used to build our systems. I don't build our systems anymore. So I've got somebody who is dedicated day in and day out when we have a process, when we have a system, to build that system. So that being said, guys, that's what you've got to do. So Andrew's big problem is that it takes time. It takes too much of his time. His time is too valuable now to be using it, doing this 1 hour worth of work on the blogging and the posting and all this kind of stuff. Andrew, it's simple. You've got to build a process, and then you've got to hire the right people. I'm going to give you guys probably one of the biggest nuggets of information that I have ever received, and I'm going to give it to you today for free. We do something called human split testing. So what I will do when I have a process like this, and when I find the right staff to staff that process, I will go to, let's just say that I'm hiring somebody, a VA, like it's not in-house. I'm hiring a VA. So a virtual assistant, for some of you guys who do not know what that is. I will go into my freelancer dashboard, and I will human split test them. And what I will do, I will find 2 people, and I will give them both the same project, and I will rank them based on how they perform while doing that project. Now, Andrew, I talked about writing your blog. You could potentially have another blog writer do that for you. Well, I will hire 2 people to write blogs for me, and I will watch to see which one outperforms the other one. And I'll keep doing that. I'll hire more people and other people. And what you'll find is you'll actually have 2 pieces of content that you can use both of them. And I will not just rank people based purely on quality. I will rank them based on how much they charge me, how much time that it takes, how responsive they are to my needs. And there's all kinds of other little variations to that. There's all types of variables that you want to put in play when it comes to hiring somebody based on what's important to you. So that being said, guys, I want y'all to think about this. Like, what do you do today? Are you just like, is everything you're doing just random? Are you just one day deciding that you're going to write a blog on this day, and then you're going to post it at some random time, and then you're going to take that post and convert it into an Instagram at some random time, and everything is fucking random? I'm here to tell you that's the wrong way to do things. You need a process and a system. And, here's the deal, Andrew. You may want to get backlogged on this stuff. So when you hire somebody to write blogs, don't hire them to write 1. Hire them to write 10, or hire them to write 15 of them. Get yourself backlogged on this, so that way you always have a steady flow of content coming out at a consistent time. And when you deploy an Instagram post, you want to deploy it at the time where your audience is most likely to see it. They're most likely to actually be there. Some of the mistakes that people make is people get too antsy. They get too trigger happy to literally just, as soon as they get something in their hands, they want to deploy it. It's like sending an email at the wrong time. Your open rates won't even be there. So there's no point in doing it. So not only are you creating consistency in your content and consistency in your marketing, you're also creating consistency in for your audience as well. The people that are going to read it, the people that are going to see it. You're testing, you're finding the right times, and it's super, super important to do that. I'll give you guys a little secret. We send out an email nearly every single day in several of my businesses, and when we first start emailing for any business model, we do it at all kinds of random times. So I have them send out emails for like a month at multiple different times. I have them send them out in the morning, in the middle of the afternoon, in the evening, and we track all of the data until we find the time that our audience is much more likely to open the emails and click through to whatever the offers, or a lot of times they're just building rapport, they're watching videos, things like that. So that being said, guys, you got to get scientific with it. And the only way to do that is to build framework around it. So you've got to build a process for everything that you all do. And super important when it comes to marketing, guys. So anyhow, y'all, I appreciate you. And as usual, I'm going to see you on the next one.